The mystery of Iran, the empire that could never be destroyed. Why no empire could ever destroy Iran? 5,000 years of survival. For more than 5,000 years, armies from every corner of the world have tried to conquer the land we now call Iran. Kings believed victory would be easy. They marched across deserts with massive armies, convinced that one final battle would erase this civilization forever. The soldiers of Alexander the Great marched here. The Iron Legions of Rome pushed toward these lands. Arab warriors arrived carrying a new religion, and the terrifying Mongol hordes of Genghis Khan burned entire cities to ashes. Most civilizations would have vanished after suffering disasters like these. Many did. The Babylonians disappeared, the Assyrians faded into history. The Hittites became nothing more than archaeological ruins, but Iran did something no other civilization managed to do. It survived, not just once, but again and again. Empires defeated it militarily, but eventually those same conquerors began speaking the Persian language. They built Persian cities, they adopted Persian culture, and sometimes they even became Persian themselves. It was as if this civilization possessed a mysterious power. A power that allowed it to absorb its conquerors instead of being destroyed by them. So how did Iran survive when so many other ancient civilizations vanished? How did this land influence the religions of the world? And why did the famous name Persia suddenly disappear from maps in the 20th century, replaced by a name that had existed for thousands of years? To answer these questions, we must travel deep into the past, back to the birth of civilization itself. Before Persia, when historians talk about the birth of civilization, they usually point to Mesopotamia or ancient Egypt. But there was another region developing advanced societies at the same time, the Iranian plateau. Archaeologists have discovered ancient settlements here dating back nearly 7,000 years. These early communities built complex cities, produced beautiful ceramics, and developed advanced irrigation systems. One of the earliest civilizations here was Elam, located in the southwest of modern Iran. Its capital city, Susa, became a powerful center of trade and politics. By the 3rd millennium BCE, Elam was strong enough to challenge the mighty cities of Mesopotamia. In fact, one of the earliest known diplomatic agreements in human history involved Elam, a treaty signed between the Elamites and the Akkadian Empire. Even at this early moment in history, the Iranian world was already influencing global politics, but the people we now call Iranians had not yet arrived. That would happen centuries later. Arrival of the Aryans. Between 2000 and 1500 BCE, new tribes began moving into the Iranian plateau from the north. They were nomadic, horse-riding peoples who spoke languages belonging to the Indo-European family. These tribes called themselves Arya, a word meaning noble people. Their new homeland became known as Aryanam, the land of the Aryans. Over thousands of years, that name slowly evolved into the modern word Iran. These tribes mixed with the older civilizations already living in the region. From this mixture emerged powerful groups like the Medes and the Persians. But the most important thing they created was not an army, it was an idea. The religion that changed time. Long before Christianity or Islam appeared, a new religion emerged on the Iranian plateau. Its founder was a mysterious prophet named Zarathustra. Today we call his teachings Zoroastrianism. This belief system introduced a revolutionary concept. The universe was not random. It was a battlefield between two forces, the god of light and truth, and the spirit of darkness and chaos. But Zoroastrianism also introduced something even more powerful. The idea that time moves forward in a straight line. The world had a beginning, and one day it would have an end, a final battle between good and evil. This concept later influenced Judaism during the Persian rule of Babylon. From Judaism, it spread into Christianity and Islam. In other words, a religious idea born in ancient Iran helped shape the worldview of billions of people. The first superpower in 550 BCE, a young ruler named Cyrus the Great, changed history forever. Cyrus united the Persians and the Medes. Then he began building something the world had never seen before. A massive empire stretching across continents. Within decades, Cyrus conquered Lydia, Babylon, and much of Central Asia. But unlike many conquerors, Cyrus ruled with surprising tolerance. Instead of destroying temples, he protected them, instead of enslaving entire populations, and he allowed cultures to keep their traditions. Under his successors, especially Darius the Great, the Persian Empire reached incredible size. It stretched from Egypt to India. Nearly half the world's population lived under Persian rule. To manage such a huge empire, Darius created a sophisticated administrative system. The empire was divided into provinces called satrapies. A network of royal roads allowed messages to travel faster than anywhere else in the world. Gold coins, known as darics, created a unified economy. The Persian Empire became the first true superpower in human history, but no empire lasts forever. The Macedonian Storm. In the 4th century BCE, a young king from Macedonia launched one of the most famous invasions in history. His name was Alexander the Great. His armies defeated the Persians in several decisive battles. In 330 BCE, the magnificent Persian capital of Persepolis was burned. It looked like the Persian Empire had been destroyed forever. But something strange began to happen. Alexander started adopting Persian customs. He wore Persian clothing, he married a Persian princess. He even encouraged his generals to do the same. The conqueror was slowly becoming part of the civilization he had defeated, and after his death, Persian culture began to dominate the region again. Within a few centuries, new Iranian dynasties returned to power. Rome versus Persia. For hundreds of years, the Persian world faced another powerful rival, the Roman Empire. These two giants fought countless wars across the Middle East. Yet neither side managed to destroy the other. Later, the Sasanian Empire revived Persian power once again. For nearly 4 centuries, Persia stood as Rome's greatest rival. Two superpowers locked in endless struggle, but eventually both became exhausted, and that weakness opened the door for a new force rising from the Arabian Peninsula, the Arab conquest. In the 7th century, armies inspired by the new religion of Islam swept across the Middle East. The Persian Empire collapsed. The last Sasanian king was killed. Iran became part of the expanding Islamic Caliphate. Arabic became the language of religion, and Zoroastrianism slowly declined. Many believed Persian culture would disappear completely, but history took a different turn. Persian scholars, administrators, and poets became essential to the Islamic world. The Persian language survived, and Persian literature flourished. Instead of being destroyed, Persia reshaped the civilization that conquered it. The Mongol apocalypse. Then came one of the most devastating invasions in history. In 1220, the armies of Genghis Khan stormed into Iran. Entire cities were destroyed. Millions of people were killed. Irrigation systems built over centuries were wiped out. It seemed impossible that Persian civilization could recover from such destruction. Yet within generations, the Mongol rulers themselves began adopting Persian culture. They converted to Islam. They used the Persian language in government. They built magnificent Persian architecture. Once again, the conquerors had been absorbed. And the birth of modern Iran in the 16th century, a powerful new dynasty emerged, the Safavid Empire. It established Shia Islam as the state religion. This decision permanently separated Iran from the Sunni world around it. Centuries later, Iran entered a new era of struggle. Foreign powers like Britain and Russia competed for influence over the country. Then in 1925, a military officer named Reza Shah took control. He began modernizing the nation, and in 1935 he made a symbolic decision that shocked the world. Foreign governments were instructed to stop using the name Persia. Instead, the country would officially be called Iran, the name its people had used for thousands of years. The land of the Aryans. Conclusion: across 5,000 years of history, Iran faced conquerors from every direction. The Macedonians, Romans, Arabs, Mongols, empires rose and fell, cities were destroyed, dynasties collapsed, yet the civilization survived, not by always winning wars, but by something far more powerful: the ability to transform its conquerors, to reshape them, to absorb them into its own culture. That is the secret behind one of the oldest continuous civilizations on Earth. A nation that learned the ultimate lesson of history. Sometimes the greatest victory is simply refusing to disappear. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Tell me in the comments, which story should I bring next?